Today's call is mostly questions and answers. I don't have anything real formal to talk about today, but you guys have known me even in the past to be somebody who can talk for an hour and not really have anything formal, so we'll see where we go today. One of the things that surfaced the last couple of days is embedding video and putting video into blog posts and front pages and different things. So I thought I'd start there as a way to, or I'll start there with today's call. So I'm going to actually jump into a site, East Valley. Oh, look at this. Here's something that you might come across from time to time, is this a double menu bar. So when we turn this site over to, Mike Rizzo, and Mike's on the call. So Mike, I'm not picking on you. I noticed that you've done some work on your site, which we're very excited to know that you're doing. And you may or may not want a double menu here. So Mike, can you hear me, Mike? So do you want this things to do here, or would you like to move it? Perfect. So let me see if I'm logged into your system. I am logged in, so hang on one sec. So where you look at doing menus is under the Appearance tab. So right here under this Appearance tab is Menus. So I've got the menu up, and I come down to my things to do, and somehow it got onto here by selecting it in Pages. So it might be, let's see, things to do. It looks like a category, maybe. Or is that a blog post, Mike? No, that's a page. Oh, East Valley, Phoenix things to do. There it is. So that's the page that was added, and then we changed it to, or it was changed to things to do. So what you do to move this around, and I've covered this before, but you just click and drag it where you want it. So let's just say, where would you like it, Mike? Under buyers? Let's put it for now under your services, just for purposes of demonstration. Actually, it could go into Real Estate Buzz. Let's drop it there for now. So now I've moved in, and I've put it as a, when you indent like this, it becomes a drop down from the parent tab. So this is a parent, and this is a child tab. So I'm going to save the menu, and I'm going to go back to the site. I'm going to refresh the site, and voila, my extra bar went away, and now we stuck it under Real Estate Buzz, things to do. There it is, and boom, there's my things to do, and lo and behold, he's got a video in it. So let's do, Mike, I don't know if you've learned how to embed forms right into a page yet. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is, instead of this, you can also click on Contact Mike. One of the things you might try is embedding your Contact Mike form, because you have this form, right? So you have this Contact Me form. You can actually embed this form at the bottom of this specific page. So if they want to contact you, they don't have to click anywhere. You can just say, hey, to contact me, call me, or fill out the form below. Make sense? So let me show you that part now. So that's a page that we have. all pages. And inside the all pages, let's see, East Valley things to do, East Valley Phoenix things to do. And here's your code for your YouTube video. And then here's your code for what you were having them do, contacting you. So this all looks great, okay? In terms of what your code looks like. I'm going to delete this, and and I'll let you see if you want to do this. You can contact Mike or complete the form below. And we'll just put a colon, and then we're going to hit this. And this little doohickey here, upload insert, is add gravity forms. So you click that, and it tells you contact me. Mike, those are your two other forms you have, a VIP buyer program and what is my home worth. So for this purpose, we're going to stick in your contact me. I don't want to display the form title because that would look silly. And I don't want to display the form description. So all I want to do is insert the form. There's my code for the form. This is called a short code. And then I'm going to hit update. And now I go back to my East Valley page. I refresh. And there's my form. Now, the user doesn't have to leave your site or leave your page. All they can do is type in their name, email, phone, how may I help you, fill out the caption, hit submit. So it's one less step you have to send them to do by clicking another page. And it should help some conversion rate, because the less you make somebody do to get in touch with you, the higher conversion rates go up. Now, might be an incremental increase, but it's something, okay? Anybody have any questions on that? Well, the code embeds itself. So I can actually embed the form either in visual or HTML. But let's say we'll do it again really quick for simplicity's sake. All right, this is all my page, and I want to embed we'll just redo it instead of embedding it again. So I'm going to update this, prove to you that we got rid of it. There, it's gone. Form below. Oops, we forgot something. I want to go back in and insert my form underneath so that my customers can reach me easily. So I go up to insert. That's your picture one. This is the form. So I just click it once and it says insert a form. And we already have these 3 forms on Mike's site put together. Very easy to add more forms. It just takes knowing a little bit of what you're doing. And I'm going to insert contact me. I'm going to take away this. Well, you know what? I'll just let you see what these look like so that you can actually see them. So we're going to insert the form, update, go back to look at the page, refresh, and now we've got contact me, which is kind of weird because we don't need it. We're actually telling them to contact Mike, so we don't need to have this form title, and we don't necessarily need a description of it. So what we're going to do is go back into here. I'm actually going to delete this because once you've made the decision, unless you really know the code to change whether you're going to show the title or not. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm just going to delete it and reinsert it. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of that. Change to contact me, insert form, update, and go back and refresh. Now contact me, and the form description's gone, and voila, there's my form. Instant call to action on that specific page. Does that answer your question, Mike? Okay. Now, I recommend you do this on as many blog posts as you can, because it gives the buyer an easy reason, or you're not a buyer, but your visitor an easy way to contact you without actually having to go to another page to fill out a contact us form. So just stick that code at the bottom, work it into your language here a little bit. If I was Mike Rizzo, I would take this part out and just put in, call Mike. Go ahead. Oh, I thought someone was saying something to me. So I would just take this, call Mike at phone number for more information, or fill out the form below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or whatever. And that's what I would do, so that you're optimizing this page as best possible for lead conversion. Okay? Any questions with what I just talked about there? Hi, hey, Meredith. Do you have a question? Well, funny you should ask, Meredith. Inside, so we're inside Mike's dashboard, and we might as well just stay here, since basically these are all the same. But you're going to see something on your site, Meredith, called forms. And you're going to want to do one of two things. You can either edit forms or do a new form. I'm going to go to the edit forms route because I'm just lazy. So I'm going to go to edit forms, and Mike has one here called What is my home worth? That one most likely, let's look at this one really quick. And I think you have one on your site, Meredith, that already says something about what is my home worth. I'm not sure, but what's that? Yep. So go ahead. Which listing form are you talking about? Right. That's a different question that I'm not gonna. I'm not in. Yeah, let me say it this different way. That's a different training. It's a little bit of a diversion for it's a completely different. That form is for you on your site, like in your dashboard. It's not for the user. So okay. We're actually designing a training for that, for your site style. We're not done with it because it's the forms for you are a little bit, or the listing forms are a little bit different for you. And, we have about 6 or 7 clients now on your style of website that it's a different process. So I haven't been teaching that because we're sort of stuck in the middle right now. But that's a whole different, but good question. Yeah. Okay. To show listings. Okay. We're not going to cover it today. I promise we'll have it covered. Let me say this. Let me think about this for a second. I'm going to be in some classes next week. So it's either going to be covered next week by someone, or we'll have a video that we'll use in lieu of class next week that will cover how to do a video, how to enter listings in like that. Okay. Yep, because it is important that you guys know how to do that. Now, what can be set up, Mike, for your own listings is on our IDX, we actually can plug in just your listings. So it's not quite a blog post display of your listings, but it is a list of your listings. Like Meredith has that on her site already. Arizona Active. So Meredith has, this is Meredith's site, by the way. And this is her. Do you guys have an echo or no? Is it gone? Something else. Okay. That's, if you're on a speakerphone, it might be causing an issue with the feedback. So I'm actually, it seems to be Meredith's line. I don't know if you're on speakerphone, but however you're listening to the call, Meredith, it seems to be giving an echo. So give me a type, send me a text message through the console if you need to chat, or I'll open it up in just a second. But here she has something called her listings, and we're dumping in her 3 listings with the IDX. So that can be set up on any of your guys' sites. So if you want to do that, just let us know, and that's an easy plugin for us to make happen. The Chrome team, you guys can do that as well, and it's just send me an email and I'll knock it out for you pretty quick. It's 2 minutes of work. It's not a big deal. So does that answer your question, or does that address your guys' concern about entering listings? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So getting back to this form, let's say Mike wanted to do something different. Like he wanted to have a different, instead of what is my home worth, let's say I want to list my house or I want to sell my house. So he wanted to have a different type of form or a different call to action. So instead of, you can do, yes, we're leaving page. You can do one of 2 things. You can either copy a current form and change it, because here you can hit duplicate, or you can create a new form. I tend to fall on the route of duplicating a current form and then just editing them from there, because it saves you some steps in how it was set up. So you don't have to go through everything in the setup. Most of it's already been set up, and all you have to do is do edit. So I try to take the path of least resistance as much as I can. So I want to duplicate this form, and it's now got copy 1. So then I mouse over it, I got edit. So now when you mouse over each one of these sections, they give you an edit field, and you just edit it. And I'm going to change this to say, I want to sell my home. And then fill out the information below to get started with selling your home. And then all the rest of this is, I'm going to leave this kind of all the same, but you can go in, edit, let's say radio buttons, pool, yes, no. I could add in another one that says community pool. I could do another one that says private pool. So that gives the person filling out the form a variety of different choices they could use. Garage, yes, no. Garage size, amenity, blah, 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 all the way down the line. And then at the very end, you hit update form. You guys can take this CAPTCHA out if you don't want to use it. What it does is it helps prevent spammers from spamming your forms, because there's all kinds of folks out on the internet looking for open forms to send spam emails through. And that's why we install the CAPTCHA. You don't have to use it if you don't want, but we recommend it because it'll cut down a lot on your spam. So now I have this form saved. Notifications. This is where you fill out where the email's being routed or where the form's being emailed to. And it's from the, actually you could put in here from Mike Rizzo at KW, sorry, wrong place. So this is the email from, it's coming from the user's email. And then they will reply to, I'm going to copy this, dump this in here. And Mike could CC someone to put in, someone else in the loop. If he had an agent working for him or something like that, he could stick that in. What is my home worth? This is a subject line that's going to Mike to let Mike know where this form came from. So what is my home worth? Inquiry from East Valley, Phoenix. And I'm actually going to say, I want to sell my home. Inquiry from, I'm actually going to drop the .com because that .com can sometimes mess up with a browser. Here's the message, all fields, but you can pick just limited fields if you want. I don't recommend it. And then this is the notification to the user. So this is your autoresponder, if you will. Send to their email from, I would say, Mike Rizzo. From Mike's email. Reply to Mike's email. And then again, Mike can blind carbon somebody if he wants. Thank you for your inquiry. From Mike Rizzo. And then here's your message that's going back to them once they hit the submit button. And we put in a relatively sterile message, but you could come in here and plug in just about anything you want in this text. And then you save settings. And this form is ready to roll. So if I go back to Mike's page that we were messing with, and we go to East Valley Phoenix Homes to do, or East Valley Phoenix Things to do, and I want to get rid of this form, but for sake of demonstration, I want to go to a different form. There's my I want to sell my home form. I get rid of the title, get rid of the display, and boom, he's now updated with the new form. I'm going to refresh this page. And there's the new form, pool, yes, no, community pool, private pool, etc. So we made that change. And this form can now be used for lead capture on this specific page as well. So very powerful forms program you guys have on your site that if you use it right, you can modify and change. I don't know that I'd build hundreds and hundreds of forms. I'd build a handful that you can use over and over to do different types of lead capture. And then Mike, I'm going to fix this for you so you can also click or complete the form below. And I think this is, let's get rid of this. Insert. Contact me. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Insert form. Update. Go check my work. Always check your work. It's just a good piece of advice I can offer you. There's the form. You can also click Contact Mike or complete the form below. Now he's got every possible combination of what a user might want to do. They click Contact Mike, bounces them to this page. They still have his phone number. I would love to hear from you. Please fill out this form. How may I help you? Blah, 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 blah. So Mike's got a nice, easy way of capturing that person's information. Now, let's say Mike wants to do this on a new page. So you start a new page. And here's a blank page. And this is a blank page. I want to sell my home, test. So I want to insert the form directly. I'm going to bounce into here. I want to sell my home. I do want to display the form in the title because I don't have any other content on this page, or what I know is what I have on that is going to flow in nicely with the content that I already have. So I hit publish. There's my new page. I hit preview changes. There's my form. Now in this case, I might want to get rid of this because I actually did put something up here in the title. So I'm like, I don't like the way that looks. So fine, I come back in and I delete it, reinsert. Get rid of the title, keep the description because I want to have some dialogue with them. Oh, they want a form. I hit insert form and I hit update. Go back, look at my page. So, oh, by the way, you can hit this preview changes and it basically gives you the page, what it looks like as a preview. So I got rid of that. You can also view page. So there's no difference. This is just the live page and this is a preview page. So I'm going to get rid of the preview page because we actually have a live page out here. Now, going back to Mike's menu, I want to put that on the website somewhere. So I come in, I hit menu. I come down and I see my pages section in menu. And I select this specific one and I want to add it to my menu. So I know Mike's got a sellers program. So I'm going to take, Mike, is this a $3,000 incentive? Well, I'm just going to stick it under the sellers program for now. So I'm just going to click and drag, drop it up under here. You know, I don't want this on my menu. I want to get rid of test and make it look a little nicer. Sell my home. So I change that. I come down here, I hit save menu. And I'm live now, so I'm going to actually refresh my site. Come back to the home page. My services, VIP sellers program. There's my sell my home page. There's the form. Voila, it's ready to go. So I just added a new form to my site. I just added it to my menu. And the very last thing would be to test the work. So you want to go through and fill this form out and hit submit and see what happens on the back end of that. So that's a quick and dirty on how to use forms. I'm going to stop here and see what kind of questions you guys have. Oh no, you go edit it. In forms, edit forms, and then you want to pick which form you're looking at, and then just hit edit, and then go down to, well, actually, sorry, back up a second. Go back to the edit forms page so you see your list of forms. You see your list. Then mouse over the appropriate form and actually click notifications. And then that'll get you into the email section. Okay. I think that's it. Any other questions on the form? No questions. Okay. Let's open it up to any other questions for this week that you guys need me to answer while I'm on the horn. Yes. Okay, so let's actually work with a post that you've already done instead of creating a new one. Why live in Chandler? That looks like a fun one for us to play with. So this is a video, right? So here's something that I want to give you a little coaching on too, Mike, okay? And this is for everybody on the call. So you've inserted a video on a post called Chandler AZ, Why Live in Chandler. And why would you do that, Mike? Why would you put this post on your website? Okay, good. What could you make up about why you wanted to put this on your site? Okay, so you were going to go back and put in more content, right? Yes. Now, why do I say that? This is a quiz. You're doing well. What's that? Correct. So it's a great SEO inquiry. So I picked the perfect one. We like to say around here, there's no mistakes in reality. So there's nothing in here for Google to get their hands on, or Yahoo or Bing, to tell really what this page is about. Chandler AZ, Why Live in Chandler. You know, if I go out to the internet and I jump into Google and I go Chandler, or Why Live in Chandler AZ, let's say, and I jump in here, I mean, I've got 5.6 million people, websites, if you will, that are optimized for Why Live in Chandler, Arizona. And bestplaces.net, bestplaces.net, Wikipedia, Money, CNN, chandleraz.gov. You know, those are some pretty stout websites for me to compete against. Now, the first one down here is the Curtis Johnson team. His site's been around a while. But what that's telling you is it's actually possible to rank, because he's at the bottom of the first page for why I live in Chandler, Arizona. Okay? So what's missing is content and search engine optimization to get you found for that specific keyword, or, you know, this specific post. So you'd want to put in here, you want to live in Chandler if you work at Intel, for example, or PayPal, or Google, or whatever, right? So, you know, you build your spiel about why live in Chandler, and here's a great video of the city of Chandler to help make your decision process of where to live in the Phoenix area easier. So now I've done my content, I've put in my title, and now I come down underneath this thing and we have Genesis SEO settings. And this is where you're talking about for keywords, Mike, or the SEO stuff. So custom document title is it's this part up here. If you can see my mouse, this up here is what's called your document title. It's probably the most important piece of what Google's looking at to determine what this page is about. It's their first thing they see it's one of the first things they see when they hit your website. So I'm going into the code. Don't let this blind you. For those of you who have phobias against code, don't let this bother you. You won't have to do this at all, really. But I'm just giving you a reference point. So if you imagine up here, this is all the code on this page in the background that's making that page show up in the browser. Okay? And you get to that, I'll bring that page back here in a second. You get to any code like that, you just right click and you'll see something that says view source or view page source. It's a way that you can go look at somebody else's code if you want to borrow something from them, for example. So we're going to look at this code really quick. But if you imagine, this is the upper left. This part here is the upper left part of your website, right there on this specific page. And Google, basically, their robots literally come into your site from upper left, and they go down columns and come back, and they read across your page, and then they eventually get to the bottom on the right-hand side, and they exit. So you can think of this very simply as these are the first lines of code on your website. And your fifth line on this one is this right here, your title. You can see it says title. Okay? So your title is important to the search engine optimization of your page. Now the great thing about WordPress is it fills that title into you by default. That's how we have it set up. So that on this specific page, now we should go to that specific page so you guys can see what I'm doing. There it is, Chandler, why live in Chandler. Okay, there's my video. And if you look, Chandler AZ, why live in Chandler. I'm going to look at the page source again really quick. And you'll notice here, there's my title. Chandler AZ, there's some code in there. Why live in Chandler. That's the numerical sign for the dash, by the way, right there. You don't have to memorize that for the quiz after this class, but that's what it looks like if you really care. I don't care, and I don't have that one memorized. I just know what it is. So there's my fifth line down. There's my code. That's my title. So you can tell, you can get a sense of it's important to make sure that that title is optimized for what the page is about. So here I am. I'm working on my post. And Chandler AZ, I'm actually going to update this because I'm tired of looking at that red autosave. Okay, so now, what's that? That's a loaded question. It just depends. It depends on how often there isn't. I would say industry average is once every couple of months. Now, if you're posting every day, Google's going to come to your site every day. But if you're not updating your site, you know, we have clients who, when we first launch their site, they get traffic, and then they don't touch their site ever. And then a year later, they call us and go, "Hey, how's come my site's not working?" And our next question is, well, when's the last time you put a blog post in? And they say, well, it's been a year. And we say, well, it's because Google, you've trained Google not to come back to your site because there's been no changes. Now, the sort of the lucky thing about plugging in an IDX product like ours is you do get fresh content as new listings come onto it. So it's taken some of the burden off of having to blog post, but not enough of it that you should just dismiss the site. So we have a couple of websites that we manage that are ours that, you know, we know Google comes through 8-9 times a day. But that's because we're active on them, and there's always something going on with those sites. So we know that Google comes out because we can look in the logs, the analytics, and see the bots have hit it quite a bit throughout the day. Okay. This is Mike Ewan. Yeah, you and I need to talk offline about your guys' site, given some of our past history with it. Yeah. Well, we tried to plug in analytics to it, and because of the issues that we were getting, it was actually shutting down our analytics account. And you guys are just the lucky ones that had the things happen to your former site. So I think we've recovered. I haven't plugged it in. I was waiting for all of that other stuff to die down, and I think we're starting to get in the clear. But I'll talk to you more about that later. Yeah. Uh, for most of you, we have analytics plugged into your site already. We use our account, so we can keep tabs on what's going on. If you guys want to go set up your own analytics, all you have to do is go to Google Analytics and set up an account, get the code, and send it to us, and we'll plug it in. It's very easy. You actually come into your Genesis theme settings, and I don't think I have it set up on yours, Mike, because yours is still relatively new. But you would plug in your code in one of these two spots from the analytics code that Google gives you. In fact, let me just, that's a good question. So let me log into my Google Analytics account really quick, or one of them. I have a couple now. So I'm actually going to set up a new Google Analytics account. And I'm going to add a website profile. And it's a profile for a new domain. I'm not going to do cost data. And I'm just going to do eastvalleyphoenix.com. Finish. Gives me this code. I copy it. I go to my site, Mike's site, and I stick this in here, Control V, save settings, and Mike's Analytics is now set up and installed. You can also do the same thing, and if you need any help with it, give me a shout. If you want to install yours and we already have ours in there, I'll just move ours to the footer area and put yours in the header area. There is a difference in where you install it, because it gives you you get a slightly better read on your traffic if you put it in the header area versus the footer area. Because again, if you think about it, if your page loads from upper left to bottom right, and someone never really waits for the page to load, you may or may not get the traffic information to your analytics if it doesn't get to land in, if it doesn't get to load the whole page. It's sort of a technical thing to explain, but it's just better to put it in the header, which is where we put them for the clients who want us to, who we keep tabs on. By the way, I look at analytics every single day. Here's Meredith, are you online? I don't know if Meredith's still there. All right, are you on speaker, Meredith, or do you have a headset you can plug into it? Okay, you might want to do that for the next call, because there's a big echo on the call. Well, it's the way speakerphones on computers work. They cause, well, when I mute your connection, the echo for the call goes away. It's not bad. I wear a headset. So anyway, I want to show you, Meredith, what your analytics looks like. So we're going to go in and look at Meredith's analytics. Sorry. Google Analytics. And here's a list of all of our clients. Right here is Meredith's site. And we're going to look at her report. And you can see, I'm going to back out our tracking of Meredith's site to say October 1st. I don't think we had her site running at that point. And we'll just do an application of the whole thing. So there is, yeah, so we turned on her analytics somewhere around December 20th. And it took a few days for Google to get attention, it took us a few days to get the attention of her site. And then we had an initial rush of traffic. A lot of this could have been spider traffic. We're not real clear. Then there was a little bit of a drop off coming through the holidays. And low spot there on January 14th, 4 visits. But she's been on what I would call a steady incline. She's now averaging something like 20 visits a day. Probably 20 visits a day. It seems to be maybe the high side, 18 visits a day, in that ballpark. But she's starting to pop over this 20 visitors a day. Another site that we can look at is, you guys have looked at Cactus Mountain Properties in the past. These guys are doing 120 some visits a day. So a lot of this happened as we plugged in the IDX several months ago. Let's see, another site. Here's an example of a site that didn't have the IDX. And we're going to go back. Actually, I'll just go to 11. We'll apply the range. Now you'll notice on her site, this website in particular, they were doing a lot of blog posts in in 2010, and they've slowed down, and you can see a sort of a decline in traffic. And then sometime around the first of the year, we plugged in our IDX. She converted from using the Flex MLS product all by itself. We converted her into our IDX product, and you can see that her traffic started going up. Now, she's got a website that's a couple years old, but it started bringing a lot more traffic to her site. So that's an example of what the IDX is doing. And I'm going to show you one more site. Oops. And I'm going to change him to, I think he came on around early fall or something. Let me look. Yeah. So again, we plugged him in the fall, somewhere mid-November. And you can tell that his traffic just continued to go up. Now, what's important to know about my short sale guy is this guy actively works on his website. Cactus Mountain Properties, they actively work on their website. K for Homes, not as active, but was active, has a lot of content, and that website's been around a lot. So she's getting some pretty good bang for her buck. There will be a time when she's going to need to revisit doing some blog posts to, basically have the full package of traffic on her site. So that just a quick, look at the analytics tracking. Now you can get into traffic content sources. This tells you, is it direct traffic, referring traffic, search engines, all traffic, keywords. You can track what keywords are bringing traffic to her site. Okay. Same with what you guys are using. Yes. Yeah, I actually disconnected your guys' StatPress, Marcy. Your the hosting company that we work with actually shut your site down one Saturday. Yeah. I'm sorry. No. I don't know if, I'm sorry. Look, It was this site, K for Homes. If you notice this day, Sunday, she was doing 80, 90, and in the middle of this day, this is the 20, she had 21 visits. Our hosting company shut down her site because StatPress hung up. So we've been told not to install StatPress on, and we've gotten the advice, don't install it. But the question is, StatPress is good for a quick and dirty look, but Google Analytics gives you a boatload more information to look at. And I've been sending you guys reports every once in a while. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep. And if you want me to, just give me a holler. But you need to go set up a Google Analytics account and then plug that into the site. My preference would be that you just move me to the bottom before you plug yours in and then save it. Because okay, cool. I mean, we use what you guys are getting found for as how we improve it's a way that we improve how our product performs. So, all right, it is now 10:57. We've come to the end of our hour. Wanted to get a quick, have I answered everybody's questions? Do you guys, was this a useful call, etc.? Mike, you're right. We never did. Let me talk about that really quick. But I showed you where to do it. So let's go back to that specific post. Why I live in Chandler. So where I was saying about the title, this part up here, that's covered in this headline. Now, you can do something, by default, WordPress is going to fill in that title based on this headline. If you want to change the title, you can change it here in the custom document title. So right now you have Chandler AZ, why I live in Chandler. And I'm going to say, I don't really like that one. I want to change it to why I live in Chandler AZ. What to know about Chandler. So I'm changing it. So that is to me, it's a little better title than this title. So watch what happens. So I'm updating this, and I go to your page and watch what happens to this title. It changed. So basically, the custom document title overrides the default title if you don't put anything in down here. The guideline here is 60 characters is the max you want to go. Anything beyond that really isn't going to get read, and it's typically not going to get displayed, because typically this is where your title gets displayed in Google in the search results. So if you look, you only have so much longer, and then it gets cut off. So the more you put up there doesn't help you. So, stick to 60 or so. If you go to 65, it's not a big deal. But know that if you put in, 300 words in your title, they're not going to look at it all. It's also going to dilute. If you imagine, what they'll do is they'll take the number of characters, and they do mathematics on this to say, okay, how many times does Chandler come in to play as a keyword based on the ratio of letters here? I mean, they do wacky stuff like that to come up with how they determine, how to rank your site. So stick to under 60 for custom document title. Then the meta description is something like it's a description of what the page is about. Learn about Chandler and living in Chandler, Arizona. trying to type fast. Now, this one you have about 160 characters to play with. Again, don't blast over it, but you have roughly 160 characters. Now, in the old days of Google, often this part here was the description. Google's changed their algorithm, so they may or may not use that description in their little excerpt here about what your website's about. More and more, they're going into the blog post or the page itself to look for content. So another reason to have content is if you don't have content, you don't give Google much to put into this page. They might stick your code in there, which you don't want to have code showing up in here too often if you can help it. So now the description nowadays doesn't do a whole lot for ranking. In some case, you'll see people don't worry about filling it out. I disagree because they still read it. They just might not use it to rank, but it can help them determine what the page is about. Custom post page meta keywords. Again, I still use it from time to time. Depends on what I'm doing. But it's, you would do something like Chandler, what to do, where to live, Chandler, home, jobs, a variety of, but you want to make them relevant to what's on this page. Right now, we don't have a whole lot that's relevant to this page, but these are kind of relevant to that page. Now, let me go show you where these show up in the code. So we're going to update this page. What? Why? Yes, that's true. Because people over the years have spammed that part of a website. So back in the day, people all you had to do at one point was to fill in keywords and you get ranked. But the spammers out there would want to sell ebooks and spam it for ebooks on buying a home, and they'd spam it for Chandler homes for sale. They didn't have anything to do with each other. So basically, this section has been discredited for helping your site do much, if anything. So if I've done a good job with my content up here, I don't typically fill this out with a whole bunch of keywords. I might throw a couple in and move on. And often what it's already 11:05. I'll take this information and dump it over into my tags, add them as tags, and then I'd move on from what I'm doing. You're not going to worry about canonical, and you're not going to worry about redirect. None of the rest of the stuff you're going to worry about at this point. Okay? I know I'm brushing over this part pretty quickly. We could talk about SEO on this page for an hour. But that's the quick and dirty of it. I did want to show you what it looks like with the changes we just did. So I'm going to view page source again. And here now is my title, Why Live in Chandler. And there's my description, learn about Chandler and living in Chandler, Arizona. And there's my keywords, Chandler, what to do, where to live, Chandler jobs. Now, that to me is, my